Hi, today we're going to be making a Disney Frozen inspired hairband. This is an adapted Rainbow Looms triple single design made on one loom. So to make this hairband, you're going to need approximately 115 turquoise bands, about 40 ocean blue bands, and 40 white bands. You're going to need your hook, and you're going to need another hook or a pencil or a skewer that you can hold your bands on. You need one C-clip and of course your loom. You're going to want to start with your rows aligned and your arrow pointing away from you. So you're going to start with the turquoise band on the far left, single bands all the way down. When you get to the second last peg, you want to go from the left to the center. Let's come back down on the far right, single turquoise bands again. The triple single design is good for hairbands because it's looser, stretchier, doesn't tug on the hair as much. I've tried other designs for hairbands, but it doesn't look as good because it stretches out. On the second last peg again, you want to go from the right to the center. Come back down to the bottom. You want to take your ocean blue, single bands all the way down. We're going to be making 3 full sets like this and joining them together to make our full hairband. So now that we've placed all these bands, we're going to use white bands as capping bands. So you want to skip the first row here and start from the second row of pegs, just to place them singles. And when you get to the second last row here, you're going to take one single band, twist it once, and then place it on here. And we do that because we want the tapered ends, so we make the second last row tighter. And then on the very last peg, you want to take 2 turquoise bands, one loop on there, and then one more time. So a single band looped once, the last peg. That's our capping band. Turn our loom around, take your hook, and the first band after our capping band is going to be the ocean blue. You want to hold back the capping bands and pull that out and loop your ocean blue bands all the way down. end like that. Go back down, and now the first band right after the capping bands will be the left row. You want to loop this whole row. When you're done that row, come back down, and now the last rubber band. And hook it back onto the right side. You can hook the whole row. And now you'll want to check if all your bands are hooked. You don't want to be missing one. It won't hold all together then. So after you've checked all your bands, you want to take your extra stick and go through and pull off this last row of bands. You can pull it off your loom. So you have the first third of your hairband there. Put that aside. You want to turn around your loom so the arrow is pointing away from you again. You start with the turquoise bands on the very far left corner. Single bands all the way down. Same for the far right. Turquoise bands all the way down, singles. Come back down. You want to take your ocean blue single bands in the center all the way down. So all done. Now we're going to take our white bands and use them as capping bands. You want to skip this last row here. Start from the second row of pegs. Single loops. And you want to stop at the second last row of pegs, so just keep that free. Okay, so that now you've placed all your white capping bands, you want to turn your loom around so the arrows are pointing away towards you. And then you want to get that first third of the hairband that you had put away. And you want to attach it to the first row here. So take your first two bands, match up the colors. Ocean blue. You want to make sure that it's not twisted like this or like that. You want to make sure it's straight. So they're attached like this. And since we didn't put a white capping band on this last row here, we're going to have to put that in now. You want to lift this off, the first band, place the white band on the first peg, and then put that back in place. Same goes for the ocean blue. Take the first loop off, and you want to stretch that white band over and put that back. The last turquoise row, take that off and stretch that white band over there, and then put that back on. So now we all have white capping bands on every row. Now you can loop your bands. You want to kind of tug at this so you can get to the very last band at the bottom, the turquoise. Just pull it out, loop it to the next peg, and then you can loop your whole row. All the way to the end. Come back, you want to tug at your thing again. Pull out the bottommost band, the ocean blue, attach it to the next peg and loop your whole row. And again the last row, tug at your bands, get the bottommost band, turquoise, loop it onto the second peg, and loop your whole row. And after you have a look through for any mistakes, missed loops, and after you've had a check, you take your stick again and do the same, going through all 3 rows. And after it's secure, you can take it off your loom. And you should have a seamless hairband there. And now you want to turn your loom around again the arrows are pointing away from you. Take turquoise bands. This time you're going to be starting from the center to the left. Single bands all the way down. Okay, center to the right and all the way down. Okay, in the center we have the ocean blue, single all the way down. Okay, now you want to take your white capping bands, and on the second row you're going to want to take your single band, stretch it, make one loop, and then place it there again for the tapered endings. Then after you want to do just single loops all the way down. Okay, stop at the second last row. You want to turn your loom around so that the arrow is pointing towards you, and then bring back your 2/3 of your hairband. And again, you're going to place your turquoise first bands here, your ocean blue, and your turquoise bands. Make sure they're straight on. And we have to, of course, put our white capping band in between. Take the first loops off, place your white band on, put your turquoise back on, take your ocean blue off, stretch it over, put your ocean blue back on, and take your turquoise off, stretch it over, and then put your first turquoise back on. We have the capping bands on now. So we want to tug at it so we can see the bottommost band, which is turquoise. I'm going to pull that through and loop your whole row. From left to the center. Okay, so the next row, the ocean blue, you want to tug at it, get to the bottommost band, pull it out and loop, get it down the whole row. And again, tug out your bands, get the bottommost band, turquoise, loop it onto the next peg, loop your whole row. Now you want to go ahead and check all your loops, and if they're okay, you want to take two single bands. You're going to take your hook and go through all these bands. You're going to take these two bands, hook it onto your hook, and then pull them through, and then attach. Make sure you have all the bands connected like that. You can take it off your loom. You can put your loom away now. And now we've finished our hairband, and all we have to do is adjust the length now. So you can do this on your loom, but I prefer to do it just with a hook. Take two bands, hook it onto your hook, and then pull through like that. And just keep going until you find your desired length. Just pull it through like that. I find that the double bands make it a lot stronger, just because it will be stretched out on the head. And when you think you have enough bands, take one single band, loop it once, and then pull it through just like you did the other bands. And then you're going to want to make a slip knot. Be a kind of a secure two-band for added strength. This is where you're going to want to add your C-clip. Like that. You want to do the same for the other side. So put your hook through the loops and use double single bands just to pull through like that, and keep going until you have your desired length. And when you think you have the right length, you want to do your double again, pull it through, make a slip knot, and then you can attach it to your other C-clip, your original sleek C-clip. Now you have your Disney Frozen colored hairband. So in my next video I'm going to be showing you how to make the snowflake charm that we'll be adding to the hairband. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.